But last time, I asked you if you're going to build a world-class customer service organization, a client experience organization, be it an MSP or a hair salon or a pizza stand or whatever it may be, what is more important? A, the hiring of new employees, or B, the training and culture you're bringing them in on. And we all went, most of us went with B. And don't get mad at me if you chose A, because A is very important. But this is all about what Walt Disney said. Don't put your people in Disney, or we don't put our people in Disney, put Disney in our people. Let's visit our national anthem, what a customer service revolution actually means. A radical overthrow of conventional business mentality designed to transform what employees and customers experience. This shift produces a culture that permeates into people's personal lives at home and in their community, which in turn provides the businesses with higher sales, morale, and brand loyalty, thus making price irrelevant. Making price irrelevant, that's what we do. And that, I loved Robin's opening this morning where she talked about, basically the only time you should offer price is when you got nothing else. You got no other competitive advantage. So what my definition of making price irrelevant means is based on the experience your brand consistently delivers. Your clients should have no idea what your competition charges. Okay? We're all price sensitive. But if you're doing, and branding consistently, that's important. That anyone I come in contact with on the phone, the technician that comes out to my office, and it can't be dependent on if I get Joe, right? But if I get Susan or Bob, hold your breath. That's called employee roulette. We want to make sure this is it. And I'll remind you, for those that saw me last time, that in my first business, hair salons in Cleveland, we charge up to $150 for a woman's haircut, okay? While everyone else in Cleveland, basically the average is $30. We're the busiest. But we did have a salon 4 doors down from us several years ago, put this sign in their window, and our staff freaked and said, we're going to go out of business. And I said, no, right? Let's focus on the experience. Let's make it more consistent. And then we put this sign in our window. We fix $10 haircuts, okay? So don't get sucked in someone's price wars. Compete in experience wars. A lot less competition there, and they don't know how to do it as well. I also talked about price match guarantee. This is what I want the mentality of everyone on your team to think, that we are the experience experts at what we do, and there's no one better, okay? And we will not be oversold. In fact, if you can find it higher somewhere else, we will raise our prices and match it, right? That's what needs to be our mentality. And so every day, this is just a recap because I know I mentioned this back in Austin, but every day people on your team is getting this said to them. How much do you charge? Oh, I can get that cheaper somewhere else. And it's what they say next is so critical. It needs to be articulated, right? And we have to give them that, we have to teach them through our words, and Robin did it this morning, the cheaper you go, the more it's going to cost you. And explain why, from peace of mind, expertise, all those things, that they walk away saying, I can't afford to go elsewhere. All right, and a couple other examples I want to give. I love price Mythbusters. Okay, price Mythbusters. And when people are convinced, customers only care about price. So the consumers buying coffee based on price. What do you think that percentage was in 1973? That the percentage of consumers that bought coffee based on the price. If anybody said it, I heard some numbers, but it was about 79, okay? Maybe someone liked their Mr. Coffee or Folgers or whatever, but 79, it had to be the cheapest. This is a 10,000-year-old industry. We have 10,000 years of irrefutable evidence telling us what customers want. Why would you change that? They're telling us until, obviously, one company comes along. And what do you think the percentage in 2021 is that people buy coffee based on price? 26. Okay, still big swing. But in 1973 or after, you would have been called nuts if you would have thought you could, make that go away. And they did. And another price Mythbusters, I got a lot of them, but this is the second one. So Starbucks had a challenge. We work with Starbucks. They had a challenge that sometimes, let's not talk about now with the unionization and all that, but let's talk about back in the 80s and 90s, their baristas would feel guilty about selling a $4.50 cup of coffee. Why? Because they would never pay that themselves. That was, 50% of an hour, more than 50% of an hour's worth of work for them. Starbucks had to teach their baristas that it wasn't the coffee they were selling. They were selling the third place and the convenience and the escape, and that you could hang out and you could read a book and all those, and the customization and all those things. So I had the same challenge when I was back running my salons 20, 25 years ago. Back then, we were probably only charging, $40 to $75 for a haircut. But anytime someone complained, the first thing our hairdresser would do is say they're complaining or they're not coming back because we're charging too much. And, that was always a battle. So I had one example where a guest comes in first time. She gets a level 1 designer. We have 10 levels. One designer, meaning she was charging $35, $40, whatever our lowest price tier was. She just went on the floor. She charges $40, $35, let's say. And this is about 18 years ago. And she doesn't like her haircut or whatever came with it. She complains. Fortunately, the person at the front desk, who is that salon coordinator, doesn't charge her and gives her a gift card for her next haircut, hoping she'll give us a second chance. But she gives her a gift card with one of our level 8 designers, which is actually $75. She was charging $75. Well, the guest comes back 6 weeks later, goes with the Heather is her name, goes with Heather, who charges $75, and then stays with her. Last year I looked this up. She still goes to Heather, who now charges $150, okay? And here was the lesson. At $40, we were a ripoff. At $150, we're a bargain. It wasn't the price, it was the experience that we were given with it, okay? So make sure, most of the times when people complain about price, it's not the price or that they aren't willing to pay for it. It's that we aren't providing the experience and expertise that should justify that type of price.